All right. Hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking $10,000 theoretically and we are going to be multiplying them by some different dividend yields. So what I want to do today is I have a bunch of stocks from a long-term portfolio and as well from an ETF portfolio. And what I've done is I've gathered a bunch of different dividend yields starting at 0.59%, working all the way up to about 7% or so. So we're going to go from a lower yielding kind of ETF, QQQ. We're going to go through IWM, which is the iShares Russell 2000 ETF with a roughly about a 1% dividend. We're going to bump it up to a 3% dividend with PepsiCo, and then we're going to bump it up to a 5% dividend, finally ending off. That 5% dividend was from Toronto Dominion Bank, of course, and then a 7% dividend by Enterprise Products to kind of finalize everything. So what we're going to do is have $10,000, kind of see what kind of different yields you'd be getting with $10,000 with these different ETFs and individual stocks. And what I want to do is show you how, depending on the amount of capital that you have, it can kind of make you switch your mindset as to what exactly you're looking for in terms of your income. Are you looking to start and potentially maybe a higher yielding fund like 5% or 7% might be a little bit more enticing, so you have a bit more capital to invest in some lower yielding funds? That is what we're going to talk about in this video. So if you guys do enjoy, please do remember to subscribe. We're up to 4,270 subscribers, double 2,000 already. So 4,270 subscribers. We just hit that 270 subscriber marker in the 4,000 range. So I want to say thank you guys for making that happen. Welcome to all the new people who joined. And so let's get into this video today. So the first stock we're talking about QQQ. And most likely I'll make another video about this in the future, but you could see here that although the dividend yields are all different, for example, they all pay different amounts, the stock price charts aren't all the same. Like, they are a little bit different in the sense, but just because you have a stock that just because you have a stock that has a 7% dividend doesn't mean it cannot appreciate. Doesn't mean a stock with a 5% dividend can't have great appreciation. So that is one thing. Not just because a dividend has less than a 1% dividend or a 1% dividend doesn't mean it's going to automatically have great appreciation. So that's one thing. You got to really think about the underlying when you're investing. But today we're just looking at the dividend yields. We're looking at a 0.59% dividend yield. So what that is 0.59. With a $10,000 investment, that's only $59 a year. When we divide that by 12, we're looking at about under $5, $4.91. From a dividend standpoint, QQQ, obviously more of an appreciation fund, but from a dividend standpoint, nothing exciting here. If I invested $10,000, I would not be excited to be receiving about $5 a month from this investment. Going to our next investment, we have the iShares Russell 2000 ETF. You can see here with the dividend percent, pretty much doubling that at about 1.23%. So I want to put that in here. We've got $10,000 times 0.0123, nice and easy. We're going to see what that equals, 123%. Surprise, surprise. Now we're going to divide this by 12. So you can see here, just by going from an ETF that pays we'll call it 0.6 to a 0.2% dividend, we are a little bit more than doubling our investment. And you'll see here that even though the dividend for Enterprise Products is 7 times what it is, for example, for QQQ, doesn't mean the return is going to be 7 times, because over time, the yields and the percents compound. But for an Invesco and QQQ, it was about $5. For iShares, it was about $10.25. Now, moving to our next stock, we have PepsiCo. This is an individual stock, so this is not an ETF, but they own so many other kind of lower sub companies. So it's kind of almost like a little ETF in itself, because they do own many things. I'm just going off the top of my head, maybe Gatorade, Doritos, things like that. And it's all under PepsiCo. But nonetheless, they have a 3% dividend. We're going to go 2.99% here to be exact. So we're going to go $10,000 times 0.0299. And that will give us $299 for the year divided by 12. So now we've jumped to a 3% dividend, and we are now getting paid about $25 a month $24.92 from a $10,000 investment in PepsiCo. Now, of course, these stocks and ETFs most likely pay quarterly, but I'm just kind of showing you this so you guys can see the monthly income from the different yield percentages. Now, going to the next one, we have the Toronto Dominion Bank with a dividend yield about 5% or so. So bumping up another 2%, we're going $10,000 times 0.0, I want to be exact, 507. So we got 507, boom. That gives us $507 for the year as a total. We're going to divide that by 12. So we're up to $42.25. Keep in mind, this is monthly. So if you were to invest $10,000 in a 5% yielding company, you'll be receiving about $42 every single month. And $42 does not sound like a lot by any means, but look at the stock price here. TD is roughly about $60. If you were to increase this to about $12,000, which I'm going to do right here, 12,000 times 0.0507. Let's see if this works. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to divide this number by 12. And unfortunately, we are a little bit off. Maybe it's about 15,000. But if you invested a little bit more, for example, you can use this $50 to then repurchase shares. So now you're playing with a little bit more money to reinvest next month. And the more monthly income you have, the more you can buy back stock and the more your dividends will compound over time. That's the whole deal with compound interest. Now going to the last and final stock we're going to look at is EPD, which is Enterprise Products Partners LP, with a 6.93% dividend. So let's just check that out right here. The $10,000 investment times 0.0693. Beautiful. So that's $693 for the year from a $10,000 investment, and that's roughly $57.75. TD, just to kind of refresh your brain, was about $42, and with a 7% dividend, we're looking at about $58 a month. So let's just go back and recap. From a 0.59% dividend, we'll call it 0.5% for a dividend yield, you're looking at about $4 to $5 from a $10,000 investment, very measly. We bumped that up to roughly a 1.2% dividend yield, and we're looking at about $10.25 from IWM. Then we bump it up to a 3% dividend, investing $10,000 in PepsiCo, and we're going to get roughly a $24.95 dividend. So we'll call it about $25. We bump it up to 5%, and 5% is really the marker where I think the dividends really start to compound and take off. We're looking at about $42 or so from a $10,000 investment, but that is every single month. Now we bump up to 7%, and there's obviously much more funds, much more ETFs that probably pay about a 7% or more dividend. I'm not necessarily sure about their stock price appreciation, but we can say for the dividend, and you're looking at about $57.75. So this was a video on a little comparison of the different kind of dividend yields and exactly what they would return you if you were to invest a $10,000 investment. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it brought you guys some value. We're up to 4,270 subscribers. And I just wanted to show you guys the power of a little bit more high yielding investments, and just to kind of see what kind of income you guys could be producing from a $10,000 investment at different dividend levels. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do stick around, and please do comment down below if you guys have any video ideas for the future. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys do take care, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.